Are you looking for a Wavemaker that is super quiet and pushes a lot of water? Well, in today's video, we are unboxing Hyggers Flow 1 Aquarium Wavemaker. Okay, so let's unbox the Hygger Flow 1 Aquarium Wavemaker. Now, we've taken a look at plenty of Hygger Wavemakers here on the channel, and I use Hygger a lot with my aquarium. So I like how quiet their Wavemakers are. So let's take a look inside and see what the Flow 1 is all about. So opening the box here, we have the instruction manual right on top, and we have, it looks like a screen guard for the wave pump, and then you have the pump, the controller, and the adapter, the power adapter right here. So right off the bat, I noticed that the controller itself is a lot bigger than the pump. Here is the controller, and the controller for Hygger is pretty simple to operate. It looks like there are 4 different wave modes. You have the constant wave mode, the classic wave mode, the sine wave mode, and a random wave mode. Now, if you recall, the last Hygger pump we looked at was the Crossflow pump, and the controller was, I would say, not as well built as this one. This feels a little bit more sturdy. Now, it's built just fine because I really do like the Crossflow, but comparing this controller to the one right down there, this one has a nice look to it, and it's a lot bigger than the pump itself. You can see that the pump is very similar to the Hygger Wavemaker that I recommended for your budget build tank, the best Wavemaker for under $100. So if you want to check out any of those videos, the Crossflow or that one, I'll link them up in the description. But this is a similar size. It fits right here in the palm of my hand, and it is a lot smaller than the controller. So the form factor on this, I already really like, because I like the circular design, much like a Nero pump from AI. Hygger has these guys right here, and it is magnetically mounted with a very strong magnet right here. It didn't come with anything in between it, so be careful when you're taking it apart or putting it back together, but it does have rubber in between the water side and the dry side, so be careful not to smash your fingers there. So this is the 25-watt version of the Flow 1 Aquarium Wavemaker, and at 25 watts this is great for tanks that are 70 gallons up to 120 gallons. And even though it may not look like it can push that amount of water, we're going to get it in the 125 and give it a try. Now, there's also another version of this pump, the 18-watt version. So if you have a smaller tank, 55 gallons up to 70 gallons, the smaller Flow 1 Wavemaker will work for that. So 18 watt and 25 watt. It's great for freshwater, saltwater, and reef tanks. Now, one thing that I think is really cool about the pump is the color choice that they use. So you notice on the box their colors are orange and green and black. Well, they got the orange fins on the inside, and of course it's a black pump. But yeah, the orange fins look cool, and it feels like a pretty solid pump. So got the branding right there on the inside front, Hygger right there. And I'm actually probably going to utilize this pump cover as well. It's always good to keep things protected in your aquarium. This should slide right on nicely like that. But if you're looking at the instruction manual, Hygger does say that if you have any fish that are smaller than the grooves here on the outside of the pump, they definitely recommend putting this cover on there, because hey, who wants a fish getting sucked into the pump? That's one of the worst feelings and the worst thing to see when you go to your tank and you see a fish sucked up against a pump. It's just a horrible thing. And so having this cover over it keeps it protected. So I like that they include that. So they have everything that you need to get started. Last but not least, inside the box is the power adapter itself. So here is the power adapter and the power plug to plug it straight into the outlet. So we're gonna get this thing hooked up and plugged in, and then go through the programs and set it up on the 125. Real quick, I have to tell you about the Drifter. It's my first ever aquarium product, and it's patent pending 3D printed floating fish feeder for your aquarium. It works for freshwater, saltwater, reef tanks, you name it. If you're feeding your fish tank frozen food, simply take the frozen food, drop it in the Drifter, put the drifter in your tank and let the water flow move the drifter across your aquarium. It's going to float around, broadcast feed your entire tank, bringing the food right to your fish. This creates a natural feeding response with your fish, and it's fun to watch. So if you want a fun, exciting new way to feed your fish, pick up a drifter today. You can pick them up at TheCoralReefTalk.com. Again, that's TheCoralReefTalk.com. Get yourself a drifter today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this pump in the tank. Let's see. I'm gonna take that and put it right on in like that. And there we go. Easy as that. There it is right there. All right, so now it's time to get the power adapter and the controller set up on the pump. So here's the controller. So this part is pretty easy. You just take the 3-prong coming out of the pump, and you're gonna find the other side of that out of the controller, and you're just going to attach them like so, like that. And then you're going to take this little piece here and you're going to slide it down and screw it in tight so it kind of locks the cords together. Just like that. And then the other side of the controller is going to plug into the adapter. Other side of the controller, here's the adapter, and real easy, these two pieces just plug right in together like that. And then you get the power cord will plug in right here. And then you have quite a bit of cable to work with. So the length of power cable coming out of the adapter plus the length coming from the power cord itself, you have plenty to reach this around anywhere. Plugging this into the power adapter, now you have quite a bit of length to go. So what I'm gonna try to do is plug this in and get a shot of the controller and the pump turning on for the first time. And we'll see what it turns on with. There we go. So it's turned on at the constant wave at 20% frequency or flow. Well, actually, you can see the anemones are moving now. And look at the water flow already. So there's a lot more water flow, and this tank honestly needed a lot more water flow than it did before. Take a look at the surface of the water. That's exactly what I want right there. A little more surface agitation in the tank. Get that water flow moving. So I really like that it didn't just kick water out of the tank right when it turned on. Now this is just the constant wave mode. Now we can switch modes, of course, between the four just by hitting this M button here. And the M button will take us to classic wave. And then there's a sine wave. And then we also have the random wave mode right here. And you can change the frequency of it right here. So you have between 1 and 20 to increase like the frequency of the wave or the intensity of the wave. So actually, with that being said, 20 was the top end for the constant wave, just push and flow, so we can decrease that. But even at 20%, it didn't push water out of the tank. Being pointed that the way it is, it does recommend that you're at least 3 inches or more below the water line, which we do have right there. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to go over the controller with you, and the LED lights shining through are picking up pretty bright on the camera. So you have the 4 modes across the top there. You have the constant wave, the classic wave, the sine wave, and the random wave. And the way you change those is you're gonna hit the M for mode button, and that's gonna switch between the different modes here. So if you're on constant, you'll notice at the top that flow is lit up. Now flow means you can change between you can use the plus and minus to change between the 1 and the 20, and that's the amount of flow for the constant. And if you hit M again, we go into classic mode, you'll notice that the frequency lights up. So 1 through 20 becomes the frequency that you can change if you hit the plus or the minus And you can see you're changing the frequency of your classic wave right there. So I have mine set to 12. So it's pretty easy and simple to program. You have your modes, you have your plus and minus, and you have your feed option below. And it pushes quite the amount of flow too. All right, so looking at the wave, you can see it 17% at the classic wave mode. You can see it pulsing through the water. If it's hard for you to tell, you can see it pulsing right up here. So it's off, here's the pulse, on, it's off, on, off, and on again. Okay, so compared to the other Hygger pumps, just as easy to use, easy instructions, the controller is really easy to use, and I love that about Hygger pumps. And the main thing that I really love about this pump so far is it's extremely quiet. I don't really hear it at all. So it comes with the cover to cover the pump to keep your fish protected. It has the different wave modes that you need. It supports those tank sizes that we talked about earlier, depending on what wattage pump you get. And it has a sleek, low profile that just looks great and keeps it up against the glass. There's nothing really sticking out in your tank, and you can't hear it at all. Now, if you're interested in picking up the Flow 1 Aquarium Wavemaker by Hygger, you can check out the affiliate link in the description below. It's going to save you up to 10% off your first order if you go to Hygger's website. You can check them out on Amazon as well. And with Amazon Prime deal days coming up around the corner, you can save a lot of money over there. Check out some of the Amazon affiliate links in the description as well. So if there's one thing that we learned from Tang Reefs in a previous video, if you haven't seen that, where we explored the entire coral farm of Tang Reef, he talked all about being on a budget and starting with a budget. Hygger is a great budget-friendly pump for your aquarium. So if you're not looking to break the bank and start a saltwater aquarium, then Hygger is your go-to choice. So go ahead and check out Hygger. And if you've enjoyed this video, then I know you're really gonna love this video here. Go ahead, click and tap to watch that video. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.